Are you somebody who's looking to move to Marion County and have questions about what to expect when it comes to home inspections? Well, today I'm interviewing Javier with Pillar to Post, and we cover all the topics, all the needs to know, and what to expect when purchasing a new construction house. Let's dive in. All right, Javier, well, tell us a little bit about how you got started into being a home inspector.
Okay, so it was a nice journey for me because I arrived like 4 years ago from my country. I decided to go over looking for several industries so I can apply all my knowledge. And then I decided to get into the home inspection business because it was something that matches me. I am an industrial engineer in my country, so that is sort of knowledge that I have it when I was there. So then I decided to get over. I like the way that you can work as a home inspector because you work as demand. So you can work, you can build your trust, you can build your business from what the people trust you. And that's why I decided to go over that.
So where are you from originally?
Argentina.
Argentina, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So what did you do there, did you say?
Industrial engineer.
What did you do?
So basically, I have a company.
Okay.
I have a truck company there. And also I have my backup there. And I work before that in a big telecommunication company. So then I have all my experience, and then I decide to run my own business. And I always want like people that want to run by their own, work by their own time, have people working for. I am sort of that people.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. No, I know Argentina's like economy there for the longest time. I think it still is. It's kind of like popping.
Yes.
It's busy.
Yes, exactly. So it's hard. It was like we have a period of time in my country. It was very hard to progress, to have things to go over. But anyway, that's why I switched. I'm very happy to be here. I felt like home every time I woke up. I'm very happy. I'm blessed with the opportunities I have here. And the real thing is I'm trying to live in the American dream, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. I don't know if you know this or not, but I am actually part Mexican, and my great-grandparents were migrant farmers, and so they were Tejanos, so they were here before everybody else was. But they were migrant farmers, and they really lived a really simple life and had to pick and travel and do that whole life. I mean, at one point they even lived in like a chicken coop. So it's crazy. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. And so I think it's really cool that most of like one of their children ended up with a degree, and then out of their grandchildren, several of them did. And then now that they're great-grandchildren, most of us all have college degrees. So it's just really cool.
Yes.
So like you're talking about, they work so hard for that American dream, just like you're working so hard for the same thing too. And, when you get to see that the generational impact is awesome.
Exactly.
Yes. Super cool. So did you do home inspection when you first came here, or did you do something else?
No, when I started here, I bought this franchise. And then I was in training, like 6 months training. And then I get my license, and then I started like probably 2 or 3 months working partnership with the other inspector. Okay. And then I decided after 9 months that I said, hey, I need to be me. I need to go on the field and try to get my own clients.
Yeah, no, I think that's super cool. So who do you typically serve the most? Is it local people here in Marion County or everywhere?
So that is a good question, because I serve people here in Ocala that they are switching homes, but I think that my best client is the one who is coming from the north to retire here in Ocala, and the second one is coming from the South Florida to relocate here. And probably some people said to me, hey, I have a condo in probably Fort Lauderdale, and then I can, with selling that condo, I can buy a home, a beautiful home with a beautiful lot. I can have my dogs run on the backyard. So, and the people really, really loves here Ocala. It's a different area, and the city is growing so fast, so we need to be prepared.
Yeah, we do need to be prepared. You're correct. I know because you speak Spanish, so you get a lot, I'm sure, of people from like Miami too.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, they're all moving here. A lot of them to Marion Oaks in particular. A lot of times.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
That's like the hot spot for them. It just is what it is.
And then also I have a big community from Latin America people that they are relocating in Lenard, Deer Horton. They probably can afford a better loan, so they are getting that homes, nice properties also. So that is another key factor for me, because I made that inspection for them. And in Marion Oaks, even people like ones, for example, outside Ocala, Morristown, Williston, they want a big lot with a mobile home. They want to raise chicken. They want to get some cattle there. I help them as well. Yeah,
no, I know that. Honestly, Williston's kind of become a hot spot too, in a lot of ways. From people from like Naples and down south, I've noticed a lot of them want to move to that area, which I find kind of interesting, but that's where they're moving to. I think because it's relatively close to Gainesville too.
Yes, exactly.
And it's still country. It's developed. The only thing with Williston is a lot of that property isn't ag zoning. It's residential. So it's kind of interesting to me how that's going to go long term.
They don't have enough grocery. They don't have enough things here. So probably I was talking with a client last week and I said, hey, if you want to get the grocery, and say I am 40 minutes from a grocery store, so probably when I finish my work in Gainesville, I make all my grocery shop there and then go to my place. You need to figure it out, So, and I think this a big challenge for us. Try to, if you are looking to relocate, try to make the things easy for you as well.
No, I agree. Hopefully at some point Williston will have some more stuff. I'm sure it's coming. It just takes time. It's no different than here in Ocala where, before we didn't have very many shopping options and now we're getting a Sprouts and a Whole Foods and we're getting more options across all of Marion County, not just in one specific pocket.
Yes.
So the growth is good. It's a good and bad thing. Now, I know you were talking about new construction and I feel like right now, especially I've just got a house under contract for a 4-bed, 3-bath with a builder, and we got it for $294. Special deal. Doesn't usually happen.
No.
But it did because they're just trying to get rid of a lot of their inventory because they've built so much. Like you said, you do a lot of that with new construction, and a lot of my customers go, "Do I really need an inspection?" I say yes. What do you say?
So this is my work, so I would probably say yes as well. But to be honest with you, I have the same question with all my people, with all the buyers. And sometimes I talk with some agents about it, and I said some agents, they say, hey, I recommend don't do the home inspection. I probably recommend them to go to 11-month warranty and perform the inspection 1 month before the warranty gets void. And I said, I think that is not a very good idea. So, and then I show them with facts. So, for example, there is issue with the water heater, there is issue with the AC, there is issue with the exterior wall surface. Sometimes happens to me 2 times they don't have enough insulation, or even they forgot to install the insulation. There are some issues with the roof, some lifted shingles, improper flashing, and if you wait 11 months to get the home inspection, you're gonna lose 11 months of probably electrical bill, probably potential water leaks. For example, you will not have the correct temperature on the water heater, so probably the AC is not working as well. So it doesn't matter the most, I think, a home inspection. And even this is a small price that you paying. For example, if you pay for the survey, you pay for the appraisal, so you pay for the realtor's fee, and then you pay with the balance of the loan. So it's going to be the less that you need to pay, and in my opinion, it's going to be the more important.
No, especially on new construction. I mean, of course, resale, it's very obvious, but new construction, sometimes it's crazy that the realtors are doing that to the last month, because sometimes it takes that long to get a hold of them.
Exactly.
I mean, just to be realistic with people, everything has its negatives. If you buy a used home, yes, you know what all the issues are, and then you have to have it, either you can fix it or you may be aware of it. But with new construction, it can be kind of a similar thing. Those issues arise, and it just takes time for them to get to you.
Exactly.
There's negatives to it all. It's not instant. We all want it instant, but it's just not like that.
Exactly.
Sometimes you have to send them certified letters. It's not always the easiest thing for them to come out and fix it. Do I think you get the better deal a lot of times? It just depends. I mean, it depends on what your needs are. If you need closing costs and stuff, then, new construction is great for that. But I'm a month before leaves you no time before that warranty's gone. Crazy. Super crazy. So, yeah, no, I don't recommend that.
But let me be clear on this one. We don't have too many new construction like these years, probably 2024 and this 2025, probably 3 or 4 years. So we don't have too much development here. And I think it is in the same way that you mentioned before, why Ocala is growing so fast. So probably a couple of years before, we used to work in 2010, 2015. And that's when they said it's a brand new home. And that was something that is probably work a lot. But now on, we have a lot of new construction with a lot of builders that are coming to town. We have the main ones, and then we have the small ones. That's why we have too many right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think we just have a lot of inventory. They're definitely slowing, so and they're not giving as big incentives as they were before. They were giving some of these builders were giving $50,000 in closing costs during Christmas. Now they're giving 15, so that's a little bit more not so crazy, because $50,000,
it's a lot of money.
That was a lot of money. It was crazy, but that's what they were doing. So I don't really quite see it so much now, and I think the new construction is getting better, like the quality, because they're not throwing it together.
So yes, what happened also is on the first stage of the new construction, we are all new. Even the crew used to work in another places. They used to be in another areas. So we are all new. So we need to see how it's work. We need to how to play the game. So the home inspector, the realtor, the construction, and we all of us, we can improve also and get a good new product as well.
Yes, I agree. Actually, I was recently at Lennar, and Lennar was never my favorite builder, but they've actually they have stepped it up a little bit, because I was there at the construction sites and stuff, and it looked pretty clean, and the houses looked pretty clean, so I was kind of surprised. And I've never been a big Lennar fan ever. Usually I'm like, their product is crap, it's more expensive than DR Horton, and if you want cheap and easy and quick move-in, go DR. Like that's always been my motto. But Lennar actually surprised me. I'm gonna say that, like, they really did. I mean, I want people to buy a good home.
Yes.
Now, I know something that we talked about before we started, and that was the pre-drywall inspection. That's a new thing, right?
Yeah, so like we spoke before about the new construction, so usually a new construction takes at least 3 months to get it through. So the home inspection company, some of them, not all of them, they offer a pre-drywall construction, which I have my certification, and inspect basically the bones of the home before the drywall is installed there on the home. So that is allow you to have an idea, the good framing, the wires all over the home. You need to give an idea for the plumbing, if it's correctly installed in the concrete, the trusses, all the ductwork. So everything to make sense that they are in the correct position. Also, when I make a pre-drywall construction, I go to the roof as well, and I try to see if it's installed so far, if we need to add more flashing, if we need to take attention in probably some shingle that they are probably raised, lifted. And then also I want to make an inspection on the exterior of the home, the grading, the landscaping, how it's connected, if that is the clean out, the sewer, how it looks. So then, and the last things I want to mention about it is the exterior wall. Sometimes it's good framing and sometimes it's cinder block. So you need to check that there are no gaps, no air coming from the interior of the home. So that is something that I recommend to my clients. Sometimes I offer a package, pre-drywall inspection, new construction inspection. So most of the time the customer choose both, and at least they have a pretty good idea that the home was properly built.
Again, I think now that things have slowed down a little bit, I've seen better quality. But there, during the boom and when it was crazy, I mean, I had a house that sold with a specific builder. I won't name them, but they this specific builder, and the buyer kept going out there, even though they're not supposed to do that. They're not supposed to do that, but they told me this, and they were like, "Well, I didn't tell you about it because you told me I wasn't supposed to be out there, and I didn't want you to get in trouble." And I'm like, well, you need to tell me because this matters. And so what ended up happening is, I don't know what they did, but one of the studs bowed. Like not a little, like, it was like way out, like very noticeable. And then they tried to hide it behind the water heater. And I'm like, you can still see it. And
exactly.
So when we went through the final walkthrough with
it's still the same.
It's still the same. And we went through the final walkthrough with the head person, and he was like, why is this wall like this? And I was like, because somebody didn't put that stud in correctly, or it was something was wrong. So, and they really couldn't do anything about it because it was one of the main ones, and they would have had to tear down the entire wall. It would have been a mess. That's like a good example of why you could have caught that. And then also the buyer didn't feel like they were doing something that they weren't supposed to be doing. So then that way, actually, like, something positive comes out of it anyway.
So let me share an example to you. I make a pre-drywall inspection, and the buyer said, there is something wrong with this home. I don't know. So that's why I want to hire pre-drywall construction. I don't know if I'm going to go through. I want to hold on a little bit because I don't feel comfortable with the home. I said, okay, let's take a look. So when I went into the roof, the alpha shingle material that they use was really bad. So all the granulation was around the dwelling. So what happens? They need to put a new roof. So he was right. So probably if this construction is still ongoing, they will have more issue with the asphalt shingle roof. They will probably have leaks because the shingles were all lifted on the corners. That's gonna be a very, very bad. And they replace it. And the customer was so happy about it. Said, "Hey, I appreciate it. You take a look." I showed them pictures, and then they were very bad, and they need to replace the whole roof. So that is a good call.
Oh Lord, I know. And then a lot of people get upset because it is new construction, and they expect for it to be 100% perfect from start to finish. In reality, there are people building this home. Things don't go the way they're supposed to. So you just have to be patient with that. I'm not saying that we should excuse the behavior, but as long as they rectify it, at least that's the plus. At least you're not fighting with a seller who doesn't have to fix it. The builder has to because it's under warranty.
Yes, and then some people ask me, said, "Hey, why I need you?" Because the builder told me that they have all the permits from the county. So what I need you? They send inspector from the county. And I say, yes, that's correct. But the inspector will not check as a home inspector. The county inspector will not check the hot water, will not check the AC, will not check if there is any defect of the home and the cracks, like you mentioned before. They're going to go on the basis. They're going to check for the floor plans. They're going to work in sort of another inspection, not the one that you need from me.
No, I agree. And, there's certain builders that, like you were saying, like forget drywall or they forget X, Y, and Z. And it's just craziness. I had one where he didn't have a home inspection. I always recommend it. I'm not that agent that says wait till the last minute. I'm like, let's do it while we're here. Let's go. He didn't do it. And he's like, I don't want to spend the money. And I said, okay. He had like an air conditioning bill, like $500. And because it would never shut off. Because he had no proof of it, the builder was like, kept trying to rectify and fix it. And I was like, look, you need to just go have one done now. And maybe they can figure out what the issue is because the builder couldn't figure it out. And what they ended up fixing it themselves by taking the thermostat and like putting it in a different room that was colder.
Oh,
and they were able to fix it. So something wasn't reading correctly. I have no idea. But like you were saying, like if you would have done that, you would have saved all the 2 months of $500 bills.
And then I have another one.
Yeah.
The last one, so I want to share about this new construction. Happens to me. Customer called me, say, I bought this home 6 months ago and I don't have hot water. I don't have AC. I said, you called the builder? Yes, I called the builder. But the builder said that they need for a professional to take action. So that's why I'm calling you. Because as a home inspector, you can identify the issue and they can send the correct people. So, that's make more sense.
Yeah, that's exactly that's kind of like what I was saying. Like they, unfortunately a lot of these people too go to these builders without real estate agents. And that's okay. Like you can definitely go to the builder, but they don't care about you. Like, like your agent is more likely to care about you. As long as they're not recommending, you to do the inspection 11 months before, 11 months into owning the home. That still really got me. That really got me.
I noticed that.
I was like.
But I'm here to share facts with you because we are talking about the new construction. So we need to know what the people can expect for. So.
Yes, no, 100%. And I saw a lot of new construction. That's a lot of what I do. Like with the one that you and I were on a while ago was, if you remember, the concrete blocks in the garage had like huge gaps. And I was like, oh my God, like what, like sometimes I'm just like, what are you guys doing?
So we are talking about obvious things. So there's something that you can hide, like you mentioned before.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, and then had it all wired whack. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, who did this? Like, I don't. And that was a small builder. That wasn't even like, D.R. Horton, Lennar, all those big builders where everybody hates on them. And I mean, everything has like the positive and the negative. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention is water testing, because I know certain loan types, you have to have water testing.
Exactly.
And so you're able to do that.
Yes.
Now, do you have to do that on new construction? Or
we have different type of loan. Like you are more aware than me. We have the conventional, we have the FHA, and we have a BA loan. So even in the new construction, where there's a well installed in a home, for example, the FHA loan asks for bacterial and coliform. And then, which is a BA loan, they ask for lead, nitrates, and bacterial. Even in new construction, the lenders want to know if the water is potable and if the well was properly installed. So let me share a quick story. Happens to me with the BA loan most of the times, because of the settlement of the water, sometimes the results come back with a turbidity, okay? And that's happened to me a couple of times that the lender required to install a water softener and filtration system. So that is something that the lender will require from the seller if the well is not properly working in good order. So that
Okay.
is something to keep in mind.
That's something new because I don't think they used to do
Yes, exactly. That is brand new. Happened to me in 2 homes.
a lot of people want to hate on wells and septic. I mean, to be honest, I kind of prefer it. It makes your bill less typically. But, it's give and take. But, I mean, even those new construction homes, I'm sure sometimes it pops up, especially with the market being a little bit slower. Because if the well sits and nobody runs the water,
Exactly.
the chances are so much higher because it's been sitting there for so long. Or, sometimes people don't use it as much as what it's used to. And it's kind of like a whole science. Now that we talked about new construction and everything, so how long have you been here in Marion County?
Oh, I've been from full-time 3 years working here as a home inspector and living in Marion County.
Okay.
So first of all, I started living in Summerfield, and then I moved in Ocala. So I'm living right now in Ocala.
Okay, yeah, no, I know. When I first moved to Marion County, we lived in Summerfield. We lived on a mini farm. I really like Summerfield. I like that area. It's just not a whole lot of homes to pick from, but it's a nice area.
It's a nice area. It's very quiet. You have a lot of farms around there. But anyway, probably you need to think about the kids more easy for the school. I live in an area where I'm in the southwest of Ocala, so I have the school very close to me, so more sense, grocery, gas station. Is more easy when you have kids, when you have a family, easy to go out and be prepared.
And that's where they're building all the new construction for the most part over there in the Liberty Triangle area. There's so many new, and then all the new schools coming, and I'm very excited with the growth that is coming here. A lot of people are mad about it and not too happy, but unfortunately that whole southwest side is going to be like the concrete jungle of Marion County. It's just going to be. I mean, Marion Oaks is 22,000 acres of residential zone property, so I've done the math. It's like over 20,000 homes that will go there at some point.
Yes.
Then you have to think that's like
how many acres?
Yeah, and most of them are quarter acres, so it's just crazy. So it'll be even more than that. And then if you calculate the people, now you're looking at, that's like 40,000 just two people. So I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yes, exactly.
Or even more. So, at some point things will be different over there. I think it's going to be like a Altamont or Winter Park or it's something like that.
Yes.
And I think the World Equestrian Center is kind of contributing to it too.
I know. It's growing so fast.
I know.
But happens to me that probably in another areas, for example, here where we have in this interview, there is no more land to build homes. So I think that the builders is looking something next to Ocala, so probably for the downtown from Ocala, and this is where they have a big area there to grow. And then, like you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, also we have some commercial development going through from the 60, from the 200. We have a lot of things going through there. So like you said, it's going to be a very populated area. Yes,
it is going to be. And then in downtown, like in the Fort King district over there, they're like tearing down some of those homes and building new construction.
Exactly.
I saw that and I was like, oh boy, this is getting interesting. Because, my family's originally from Naples. And so back in the day, like Charles and Ruttenberg, like the builder there, built most of the homes in that area. And then my uncle actually like tore them down and built multi-million-dollar mansions because he was a small builder. And so that's what they're doing there is the smaller builders are buying up those lots with the houses and that are just kind of old or decrepit or whatever the case is and knocking them down and then new construction. I was just over there and I saw that and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're kind of getting big city a little bit. That's what it feels like anyway.
Yes, I remember I was in a lot there and they have an old home there and they tear down the home. The lot they divide by 2 and they're making two homes. So it's going to be without garage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's more big inside, so probably 3-2 without garage, but they can put it 2 homes all together. So, and like you mentioned, it's gonna be still growing.
I know. I mean, it's nice over there. I'm hoping that they keep some of the bigger lots.
Yes.
That's what makes that part of town very special to me is that the lots are bigger. So if they start making it too close together, I feel like it's not going to have the same feel, and it won't be as prized. I don't think anyway.
Yes.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. It's a little different in the historic district over there. Like, some of those lots are, like, huge. Like, those are 2-3 acre lots.
Yes, exactly.
Those are a little different. Like, if they cut them in half and did 1 acre and 1 acre, okay. But, I mean, the half-acre lots, having all of that is pretty special. Like, in Ocala waterways like that, too.
Yes, I agree with you.
That's what brings the money. I mean, and it makes the area more prized, I think, anyway. Well, at the end of my interview, Javier, what I usually ask is if somebody is looking to do what you do, what would you tell them?
That is a good question because I receive a lot of phone calls from say, hey, I saw your webpage I read your reviews on Google. They are so nice, man. How did you do that? How do you get into that? How do you get there? And I try to explain with the people that looking to get into a home inspection and to try to get into my business that is no easy. Nothing is easy. And you need to willing to work every day, 24/7, Monday to Sunday. So most of the times I work on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. And, I try to be a nice person, easygoing person, understand what my client needs. And top of that, be a good inspector. So how do you become a good inspector? So probably like I did, be with cornerstone inspections. So they give me a lot of advice. I am truly grateful for the opportunity that they gave to me. Also, another inspector, share experience, and then always keep learning. Try to always try to have some question, try to be better inspector, try to go over probably, I always talked on myself and I say, hey, what are the more important things on a home? So probably we say the roof, we say the electrical, we say the plumbing, we say the AC. So these 4 topics, you need to know everything about it, because that is going to be something that is going to be determined in a negotiation. And it's going to be a big issue if you don't properly take care of them with the potential buyer. So my recommendation is be prepared. Be prepared if you want to go through. So get the course, become a home inspector, try to work for a company for at least a year to know how it's work, how the drill is, and also try, like I said before, try to understand the people who is buying the home, they needs, what they need, how they feel, be patient. So it's 50-50, I think.
No, I think that's 100% true. Being a home inspector, it's kind of, trying to have good relationships with the customer, but also like do your job. Because I mean, like there are some home inspectors that will just kill the deal because they're pointing out everything that's wrong with it. And while that is your job to do that, it's like you also have to be realistic with them and be like, look, you're buying and even me, you're buying a used home. Not everything's going to be perfect. Like you're saying, is the electrical okay? Is the roof okay? AC, water heater, things that matter, the roof, all of that. If those things are okay, then those are the expensive things too. That's what costs the most amount of money.
Exactly.
If the little faucet's leaking a little bit, it's a used home. It's not going to be perfect. If you want perfect, you got to buy new construction. And even then, it's still not perfect.
You need to make a home inspection.
Because it's still not perfect. You may not be dealing with the leaks, but you don't have insulation or something crazy. But no, I think that's 100%. And I think it's important that people, realize that home inspectors do more than just inspect your home.
Exactly.
They have to have a certain amount of relationship with you too.
And also, like you mentioned, the relationship, probably some customer keep calling you. So make you develop them with a friendship and say, hey, so I'm trying to paint my home. What do you recommend? Or what do you think about it? Or what do you think is what I'm going to do here? Buy this unit or the other one. So they make you advice as well. They ask you so many questions. So if you have a good relationship, that is going to be a big support for them, because mainly, like I mentioned at the beginning of my interview, the people coming from another state, they're coming from another areas from Florida, so they need to know anyone that they can trust as well. So for me, it's not only to be there, be 2 hours and perform a home inspection, send the report, and that's it. So probably it's going to require a little more extra, the extra mile. So, and that's what make me be so busy in this work, and the people trust me really.
Yes, no, I do think that. You're very thorough and do a really great job when it comes to home inspections, and I appreciate that. But, Lord, sometimes it can be fun. Definitely in real estate. You get to see both ends.
Exactly.
And, being the realtor sometimes it can be fun.
And then we are in the real estate business and involve a lot of things. So probably we are in the field, you and me, the agent, the home inspector. So probably, like I mentioned before, the appraisal is going to take pictures, the survey, even the lender, probably they're going to ask you for a question, but probably it's going to be something that's going to be yes or no. But probably I think we are in the chain, we are a big part of.
Most realtors don't even put their house pending until the home inspection's done. It's the home inspection period. So, I mean, if the buyer backs out for whatever reason, even if it's over the little leaky faucet, I mean, they can do that within that time period. And so it can really impact how the deal goes. It can go south really fast or it can go well. Like during the boom, I had a house. They said everything was fine with it. The roof had been leaking. The insulation wasn't correct. Like, I mean, it was an older home, but like those are some more serious things. And they wanted like top dollar for it because it was the market at the time, and my buyer was like, I'm not doing it, I'm backing out, and they were done. But like you were saying, it's just a matter of, you know, having a good relationship. You know, make sure that your agent has a good relationship with the inspectors that they're dealing with. All of the inspectors that I know and that I recommend and use, I have good rapport with. So, you know, if there's a question or whatever, I trust them. I trust whatever you tell me, and that's important. I don't know if all agents like really take the time to build those relationships, but it's important that you have a solid real estate team, like whether it's mortgage, like you're talking about, mortgage, insurance people, inspectors, a real estate agent, all of it, that you have a solid team behind you. Because
because if you have a client or a lead, so everything will go through because you trust in the people in every step. So because if something back up, you know that is probably there is a reason for that. So you trust in that people, you trust in the relationship that you made. So that's why it's so important to build a good team. I agree with you.
Yes, no, I've definitely found that to be important, and it honestly can make you as the customer have a much better experience when you find somebody that has those solid teams put in place, because I can call them, because I mean, I let you be the expert. I don't know, you know, if something comes up in the water test, I'd be like, okay, well, I'll call this person, or, you know, something's wrong with the roof, I'd be like, hey, Javier, who do I call? What do I need to do? How's this done? You know, like I even reached out to you to help somebody with a different deal that I had. And I was like, because I was the listing agent, and I was like, I don't know who to repair this. Some shingles fell off. And I'm like, what do I do with this? And, you know, and you have those connections. So, you know, having that good rapport is super important. So I appreciate you taking your time. I know you're busy. The market's getting a little bit busier, thank God.
Yeah.
And coming on here and sharing your wealth of knowledge.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. It was a nice talk to you, and looking forward to all the people who are watching this video. They can refer us, starting to come here to Ocala to visit this beautiful city and try to help them, of course.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this interview, and I hope you look forward to another great video next week. Thanks.